Good morning, everyone. Wednesday, so that's Monday, Tuesday, third day. We're pushing up into the first valley on the right. The valley on the right-hand side. We're leaving up for another day, so we're just scanning around this area. I'm looking for a possible pitch site if I want to push up, because we're getting a nice breeze. We're nice and high. Got a good vantage point. Ground's nice and soft to lie on. It's a bit slanted, but I'm sure right there where they are, could pitch a tent there, no problem. Stalker's track is along here, going weaving up. Mike is down there getting fresh water, because this is the first real good running water we've seen for ages. Down there is just more or less stagnant. Beautiful. As I say, last night, got back a tent, had something to eat, had a drop of whiskey that Mike had carried a bottle up, good on him, top man. And I think you saw us when we were settled down and crashed out about 9:15. So we're covering all the areas. You see there's a great big hole there. But anything lying around, I've got binoculars with me so we can scan. This draws me in, this one, I don't know why. Probably been a waste of time. And Allt Dochard is just down there, as you can see. Now to get here on the Stalker's Path, and we've been chatting and all that, from our campsite, it took us 57 minutes, and we've been stopping and chatting and all that. Now take that 57 minutes and then add that 11 minutes, you're talking like what, 1 hour 8 to get here. So it's not taking long, 1 hour 8 on a stroll. Do you get what I mean? And there's always the possibility Neil went missing the night before. He didn't go on an early morning stroll, he went on a late evening stroll, because these nights they're still light about 10 o'clock. That would have been before the bad weather kicked in as well. So that's the theory I'm thinking about. Did he go the night before? Then that would mean he was out like the night before, the next day. So he was out even longer. And as I say, if he met an accident up here somewhere, fallen in a hole, something like that, then even though he's probably an hour and a half away from camp, it's might as well be 10 hours away. But such beautiful views. Sun's coming out, it's going to get hot. I believe it's going to be as hot as yesterday, which has got to be 26 degrees. So we'll be cooking soon. Plenty of water, as I say, up here. The higher we go, we're finding where the water's running off places. It's such a beautiful area. You know, I don't know if you can see the tent. The tent is right. I've lost it, so bear with me. Don't know if you can see it. I can see it, but I don't think it's very faint. And we're going to zoom in that. No, probably a waste of time. It's getting too foggy, misty. But it's basically over this river, dead centre. Oh, you might get it now. I've just managed to focus it. See, there's the orange one, that's Mike's, and mine's next to it. Looks miles away, doesn't it? As I say, I've covered 1.6 miles, that's all. Beautiful. Mike's skirting up the river. I'm following the track up and taking any high ground so I can scan, see around any high ground. Make sure we don't miss any dead ground. Right. Let's push on. Wonky here. As you can see, looks like another cave. Gotta check it out. Strike one. With the binoculars it looks like a cave. I was searching and searching before I could set off. It's not. It's just where the water's run away. There's a few boulders. It looks very dark from down below. But as you saw yesterday, we found a cave, and if you get a cave, it could be a possible shelter area. Maybe trying to get out of the weather. It's getting hot now. Thank God dogs have got water. Mike is down there somewhere he was. I've lost him now. He's skirting the river, it looks like. We didn't decide on it, he went to get some water. I carried on looking over here. And I've got to now go over this to look on the dead ground. So what I'll probably do is skirt from higher up so I can look down. Once we're up, we're up. So I'm pushing up. I want to cover all the dead ground around here so we don't miss anything behind anything. So I can look down. Mike will do the river obviously, and then we can come down the Stalker's track. That's more or less central, and we can pick anything up as we're going down, looking around. So I've got to kind of go up high over here. Might not look high, it's high enough. Especially when it's very hot. So I'm pacing myself. I've had plenty of fluids, and electrolyte tablets that replace salts and all that. I've even had 2 chocolate bars. So I've got plenty of sugars and all that in me. I'll still be tired when I get back. It's pretty normal, that is. I mean, look at this place. It's dinosaur land, isn't it? I'm letting the dog search around. It saves me a lot of work. He'll go through. If he finds anything, he'll let me know. See how he's sniffing around, checking. There's been a hind a minute ago walking around, so he's tracking the hind, I think. If there was a bone, I mean it sounds a bit morbid, but if there was a bone he'd find it and he'd come out with one in his mouth, and then I'd have to scream at him, but he'd find it. Getting a bit of a breeze at last. So I'm still going round and round, covering the back areas just in case anything's hidden out of sight. Pretty high. There's no more dead ground as such. So now I can scan down. I can see Mike over there. So what I'm doing, I'm scanning down. I can actually look in the crevices, you know, where the boulders are left from the side, in the little hideaways. I'm lucky, I'm beginning to follow a deer track, so it's making life a bit easier. Cool, but a lot of bugs, and there is a breeze reaching us. Here we are up here. I think Mike's having his lunch. Don't blame him. Rose got a stick. I'm sweating. Robbo found some deer poo, which I chased them off. Apart from seeing a hind, that's it. I've not seen anything yet. A lot of sausage up here. Big vast valley there. I'm sure it's even going to be bigger when we get around that corner. We came to a gorge It's about a 5-foot jump. Don't look much here, but trust me, there is. And there's a drop. Dogs, well, 2 of them can get across. I could probably throw myself across, but Stella, not a chance. Hey, yeah. All right, you're going down. Hey, 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 hey. Stella, down. Mike wants it noted under duress that I've pushed him up into this valley. I gotta be honest, apart from searching for Neil, I wanted to check this valley out. It looks beautiful. So I would have done it anyway. And he knows that. So, I mean, the chance of him pushing this far, yes, there's a stalker's track down there, but it's getting on now at the time. I've been going 3 hours, but I've been on rough terrain. He would have been on slighter, softer terrain. The distance we've covered is only 2.08 miles, but it's rough going. But that's for us. But there's a good chance he would have wandered off the trail anyway. And I've got to check it because it comes to a dead end. It's when it comes into a basin. So we need to see the end, and then we can come down the stalker's track in the middle and see. But the dogs are out front, they're scouting, they're looking for anything, look at them. But they're not picking anything up, so it's deer tracks. And trust me, if there's anything lying around, it will give off a smell still, even though a lot of it's decomposed. There would be a smell attached to it. Stunning views though, all the way back to the lock. And that looks a long way now for him. So you got sheer face. There is another faint stalker's track we can figure out going along there, but it's on a slope, you know what I mean, so, and it's only going along the valley all the way along anyway, so it's hardly used. I think you can see where it's going down, all the way down. Don't know where it picks up further down. Nice breezy as well. So we're aiming that direction, go around that brow, and we should start seeing the end. Whew, nice and cool up here. Mike's down back at the river. I got to be honest, on this slope it's fairly green, even not much dead ground. Because when we come down, well, we're coming down a stalker's track that's somewhere down in the middle there. I can't see it from here. So I can see it there, just beyond the boulder, to the right of the boulder. But, so, as I say, I was scanning that a minute ago when I was coming out, so there's nothing there. I've come down a bit to go around this corner here. God knows what we'll find when we get around there. But there's not many places to hide anything here. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy that, doesn't it, when you're out in the wilds like this, but this is tucked behind a boulder. It's all green. And anything would stand out. If it's skeleton, bones, believe it, you always find deer bones normally. But that's another thing, we've not found no deer bones on our travel. And you'd think not just today, all through the days. The only one we have found is one near the lock that was put out. I think it's for some birds of prey. And the estate owner said he put it out for some birds of prey. I mean, most of the estate owners don't like the birds of prey, but this one does. Confusing. But anyway, we're going to push on around this brow and see what we've got ahead of us up there. Getting easier and easier to check the land because it's smoothing out. A couple of divots here, but no, hardly any boulders either. We've covered 383. It's took us 2 hours 35. Now that's 383 from our camp. Now don't forget, Neil left his campsite, which was 5 and 6 minutes, another 11 minutes. So let's say that's nearly another mile. So this is getting close to 4.8 miles. Yes, I've done zigzags, but we'll be pushing on even a bit further. So when we push around there, we really are extending the distance he could have travelled. It'll be a good 5+ miles once we get around there that he's travelled. I think Mike's collapsed. Lost him. Yeah, he called it a day, I think. Hard work in the heat, I'm gonna lie. Such a beautiful spot, though. Oh, we missed it. Hind is just going to cross that brow there. Rogue was barking at something. I was telling her off because I couldn't see anything. She must have picked up the deer. Clever, good girl. Learning to trust her now. Mike's there, going to collapse, throw himself in the river. Over here, Stella. This side. Oh, you got up. Good girl. Don't know how you did that with your legs. Whew. It's going really hot here. I can see the slope. It's all kind of smoothed off. So I'm letting the dogs have a good soak. I think I'll join Mike in a bit. Whoa, slippery, Stella. Be careful. Good girl, be careful. You'll hurt your leg. Probably mossy. She's undressing it. Go on, you, before you get into trouble. Whoops, sorry. Zoomed you in bad there. All the way down. So we covered it to a dead end. He's definitely not up here, not unless he's hiding in a hole somewhere. And to be honest, you can cover most of the land. We got up high, you were looking down. Mike was doing the other side. It's got to be done now. You won't know until you've done it. So we've covered just under 5.5 miles. I've gone zigzags, so let's call it 5. That means if Neil even got halfway up here, or even this far, let's say this to this point, I mean, he'd be covering 6 miles nearly. Halfway up, 3 miles. So I don't think he's got further than this. It's just crazy. He didn't have hiking poles. It's really hard terrain. But I've got on the idea that, you know, he's become disorientated. He's struggling, you know what I mean? He's out in bad weather. You don't think straight, you get confused. All kinds of things can happen. So if you only have to look at it in American case studies, you know what I mean, where people have got lost from a camp location and end up over a ridge, believe it or not, over like a mountain ridge on another side. How they've done it. And this includes children, old age people, you know, people that have got ailments, you know, that have been gone missing. So that's the kind of theory I've put it on. You know, common sense says he's somewhere around near the loch. He might be even in the loch. He might have been washed away by the river. He could be somewhere in Loch Tula now. But that's expanding all the areas even further and further. And to do that, you're going to need teams. You're going to need divers. You're going to need people with drones. You're going to need a hell of a lot. So you can only do sections at a time. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm just crossing different sections off. Yes, I know it probably doesn't make sense to a lot of people. But if I cross this one off, cross the other one off, they're off. You know, they're done. No one needs to look up them, because unless I've made some stupid mistake or Mike has, then you know what I mean, there's no point keep coming off it. So that's my theory, and that's why I've done it. Yes, it's hard work, yes it's hot, and yes you struggle, but that's why I'm out here. It doesn't matter. You know, I'm doing this free with my own free will. So, and this is what I do always. So, you know what I mean? It's no problem with me. But, and the dogs are having fun. But if we keep doing different areas, we'll eventually find them, or someone will find them anyway. Because if we're not up, some other people will be up, and we can say, look, we've done that, done this. So they'll search somewhere else, and with a bit of luck, he will be found. So I'm waiting for Mike to come back down. He didn't want to go up the ridge, and now he's going up the ridge. I don't know what he's doing. So I'll be back to camp. (6:20). Excuse me, I'm licking some chocolate off my finger. Just had melted digestive biscuits where they're all stuck together, but I must admit they did taste nice. This is my vantage point. I've been scanning the channels, what I can see a lot with binoculars, and trust me, the binoculars are not too bad. They're doing a good job. I could see things on the beach up there, which I'll have to check tomorrow now. You could also see if there's anyone about on the, you know, pitched on one of these spots. No one. I've not seen anyone on the top track. There's our camp. 3 dogs. I told them to stay down there. They're so good. Look. Having a drink. Seem okay. Stella's probably a bit stiff. Earlier, when I was up here, Rebel stayed on the bank on that side of the shore, just as the trail starts, just about there, and waited for me until I come back. Bless him. While the other 2 were sleeping. So that's the parasite me and Mike done today. That's the one I would like to do tomorrow, but I might do round the loch and give Stella a rest and then do that one on Friday. Sorry, I have to look at my watch, see what day it is. You're probably getting wind noise, I apologise. So, from here, let's give it, my coffee's down here by the way. I'm drinking my coffee. give you an idea what happened, so maybe you could come up with some ideas. Now watching. See where that tree is, the silver tree? If you move about, I don't know, say, imagine 15, 20 feet to the right, or like on that peninsula. It doesn't look like a peninsula, but it is, trust me. And that's where the camp spot was. Just see that sandy beach? Just to the left of it. So that's where he was pitched. Neil was pitched. Now, they'd been pitched there on, I believe it was Saturday night, with him and his two friends, right? Then in the morning, Sunday morning, they set off up the track. It goes all the way along there by the fence. You can just about make that fence out. And over the brow of the hill to a valley, which is Glen Kinglass. Now, Neil, about 90 minutes in, said to his friends, I'm not feeling it, you know. He wasn't feeling ill or anything, he was just probably feeling tired. He urged them to continue where they were going, and he said he'd turn back and return all the way back along the track by the fence to the pit spot, which is, I'll get it right, yeah, just to the beat, to the right of them trees. Hold on, not the right hand side, correction, that's right. Where the silver tree is, standing up stump. I hope you're getting this, that's it. And there's a beach, and to the left of the beach there's a grass area. You won't see there's a pile of stones marking the spot where he went missing. So he's then pitched there. Now what we don't know, and we can't prove, is did he pitch there sometime in the afternoon, because someone did see him on that afternoon, a hiker passing by, saw him by the tree, pitched there, and he popped his head out of the tent when they went by. I don't know if it was coincidence or that he was just looking out or whatever, but they didn't think anything of it, and they continued with their journey. Now, did he, during the evening, early evening, before the bad weather kicked in, go for a stroll? Or during the night when the bad weather kicked in, did he decide in the morning he was going to get up early and go for a stroll before any more bad weather kicked in? I personally now think, listening to everything, he could have had a stroll that first evening. Just because, as I say, he felt stiff, felt tired. So imagine he's had some sleep in the tent, maybe a couple hours. Then he's got up, had something to eat, had some of his tea. That's a cup of tea, I mean. And then gone for a stroll. He hasn't taken trekking poles, hasn't taken waterproofs, which is another sign that no bad weather kicked in, because if he thought it was going to rain and he was going to go for a stroll, he'd probably put his waterproofs on. His torch was in the tent, so that means it wasn't dark, he didn't need a torch. His trowel for, toilet business was in the tent, so he wasn't having a call of nature. Otherwise, if you brought a trowel, you'd use it, wouldn't you? So, my idea, and I think Mike agreed at the time, was as he was coming down from that first trip up to Kinglass and then turned around, he saw this track, or maybe he saw the track on the first time they were pitched there. And I believe he didn't need trekking poles for this track, because it's just a stalker's track, so as long as you watch where you put your feet, you don't need to worry. And that stalker's track goes all the way there. You can see it past our tent, you can see it bending around the river there, and that goes all the way around and all the way around to past the ruins. Now, did he intend to go that far at the beginning? Probably not. Sorry, I'm going to swing you around quite quickly, so bear with me. Now, if he hasn't done that, what has he done? Now, to go around that lock, I don't know if you can see it, it's going to be not very good camera work on the phone, but it is quite up and downy and holes and everything. You would need trekking poles, right? And trust me, there's a lot of ditches and divots, and yeah, you would definitely need tracking poles. So he hasn't done that. Well, we don't believe he's done that. Did he walk back up this track along the fence where he's just been earlier today, on that day? He's been up and then back, don't forget, to re-pitch at the lot. I don't think so. I don't think you go up and down and then go for a stroke back on the same land. Now, did he go on the track that leads down past the lock and to where we were pitched on the first time it came up when I had my canvas teepee up? Well, we've checked all around it. We've checked waterfalls, we've checked, I've checked up that gorge, we've checked all around there, and we've been based around there, so there's not really much to check. Plus, if he went much further than where we were pitched, he would need trekking poles. Once he gets over the bridge, he would need trekking poles. You remember that suspension bridge, if you've seen it in the past? So he hasn't gone that far. So where's he gone? Any ideas? A lot of people are now assuming that he fell in the lock from his campsite. Maybe went for a pee and tripped, fell, stumbled. Maybe he went for a paddle with his feet because his feet are aching, and then fell in the, because the lock does drop off a bit. But we're all asking why hasn't, the body refloated and kind of been caught in that pool that everything else catches in. So you're as stumped as we are now. We've basically covered everything. We've been all around. I've been all around this lot. As I said, been all through the river system here. We've done all the locks at the back there because we were thinking maybe across this and got cut off the stream down here. Sorry, I think my hands are making it fuzzy. But if he got cut off at this, it went across and then got cut off because the bad weather kicked in, he'd try and skirt round to get back to his tent, but you'd have to go a long way because there's river systems all in between. And same on this side. If you try to skirt on that side, there's a rift system all the way around the back, but we've scouted all the way around there. So, any ideas? Do you know anything that we don't? Very, very, very frustrating. And yes, I know what everyone's saying, he could have walked 10 feet and dropped in one of these ditches and you wouldn't see him. But trust me, we've been up and down these ditches. I think you can see some of the trails where we've been cutting across. They're not deer trails, they're our trails where we've been cutting across and the dogs have been cutting across and we've been searching different areas. They've been over the fence and done all along the line there, just in case he went over the fence being nosy. Me, if I was him, this is what I would do. If I didn't come down this track, I would go to the hut, the little wooden hut. As a stroll, this is. No, nothing else. It's just stretch your legs. I've lost the hut. I don't know if you can see it now. Sorry, there's a hut up there. I can't see it on the phone. There's. That's it. That's as far as I'd go if I was going for a stroll in the evening. Just stretch your legs. I'd probably do that with the dogs. And then come back. But there's nothing to fall in or anything. And that way. Weird. Very, very strange. So as I say, we've covered all this, so that's why I was pushing into these valleys, just in case he got nosy. I don't think so, but you can't forget them, you can't ignore them and say, he never got there. Because if you do that, you could be producing a problem in the future if he was found there. You go, why didn't I chat? So, sorry, you'll probably get some terrible camera view, but I want to explain to everyone how it's happened, and this is giving you a good vantage point for you to see. But as I say, anything that ends up in that lock, 99.9% ends up in the pool. That's just past the lock. You might see some stepping stones or stones going across as such. That no cover surfacing. And it goes, there's a pool behind that. and anything that surfaces, or you know, like animal that drowns or anything like that, will end up collecting in there. And over the years, the estate people say they've found many a dead deer and all that in there. It's the way the river system runs into the loch, and then the loch runs out to the river further along, and it's just the way that it collects. You actually could be pinned down by some trees or debris or something like that. But how did he get in the first place? Weird. As I say, his tent was all laid out immaculately. I can't say the word. Perfectly. Better than my tent, I must admit. My tent's a shambles at the moment. He had all his food laid out with labels on, with his dates. He had water in a platypus. He had a stove, he had a torch, he had a trowel, had a toilet paper, food. It looked like a meal being consumed, a main meal. So was that a lunch? Was that an early dinner? You know what I mean? Or evening meal, whatever you like to call it. He had his sleeping bag, and he had an air mattress. And the only thing that was afoot was the first zip on the tent. You know, the inner was closed, but the outer zip was loose and flapping in the wind, so the tent had got wet because of the heavy wet rain. Now the thing is, oops, sorry, I'm diffing you again. Now the thing is, as you know, if the wind picks up and you don't zip right down to the bottom and latch it, or you have magnets sometimes, then the wind will ride that zip up, and the zip will eventually be more or less at the top. The tent door will be flapping like crazy, and of course all the rain will be pouring in. So that's the answer to that one. So there's nothing secret about that one. Sorry, as I say, I'm dipping you, but I'm talking to you and trying to explain everything at the same time, so you know the full story. But now you see, we've searched all around a lot, we've searched everywhere, and now we're getting a blank. And the police teams and search teams and drones and helicopters and everything, we're all over this. Special dogs that can detect dead bodies, and they've had them in boats, you know, going across the loch. They can actually pick a golf ball out of the loch, you know, if it's scented. So, hey, your guess is as good as mine. Hence why you see, right now I was pushing further afield. Doesn't explain how he got there, but it's all we can do, isn't it? Whoops, have I zoomed you too tight again? Sorry. So I was pushing these zones now, pushing out a bit more. I don't want to. I've had to. Otherwise all we're doing is going around in circles all the time. Right. That's enough, otherwise it would be too long, this video. But I thought I'd give you the full story.